So you're looking to move to Pueblo, Colorado? Well, today we're going to cover a map of the area of the most recent neighborhood that we visited. It's on the south side of Pueblo. If you're familiar with Pueblo, there are a few different areas of town. We're not a super large city, so we're going to be split up in between different sections and suburbs of the area. But it is a small area, so we're gonna cover the map today, give you an idea of the most recent neighborhood that we toured so you can see what's around there, where it is in proximity to downtown, how far away we are from the most major cities like Colorado Springs and Denver. So stick around, you're not gonna wanna miss it. If this is your first time on this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Click the bell for the notifications so that you can stay up to date on all the latest market trends here in Pueblo, Colorado. If you're not familiar with me, hi, I'm Krista, and I have lived in Colorado my entire life. I'm actually also local to Pueblo. I lived and grew up here when I was younger, and I moved back just recently, so I have the scoop. I have the scoop on all the goods, the bads, the pros, the cons, the different neighborhoods, and we're gonna cover that all here on this channel. If you're looking to move to Pueblo, Colorado, and you want someone to help you make it a smooth transition, reach out. Our contact information is in the description box. So you can just send us a message, book a time to chat with us. We will be happy to connect with you and help make it a smooth move to Pueblo. So we look forward to connecting. Okay, so we are now in the computer and we're gonna take a look here at the map. So we have Pueblo here. Pueblo's got about 111,000 people. So it is a smaller town, but it's large enough to feel large, but small enough to get that small town vibe. It feels a little bit hallmarky in the wintertime. You know, we've got our local parades and all the fun stuff that we do. So let's take a look here. We just went through the Domega Homes area. Now, Pueblo is really gonna be kind of split up into essentially 5 different areas. One of the newest up and coming areas is gonna be Pueblo West. But if you're talking about the proper limits of Pueblo, you're gonna have the south side, the north side, you're gonna have east side, west, and then you're gonna have the county and Pueblo West. So what we're looking at here is just Pueblo's proper, and basically the south side is going to be in this area. So I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit here. We have our state fair is actually held here in Pueblo. So that takes place here, and every year at the end of August, it's usually a week long. We have concerts, rodeos, all the good things, and everybody from around the state comes to partake. So that is the Colorado State Fairgrounds. That's going to happen here on the south side of Pueblo. So where we were when we were filming about Domega Homes would be in the Sunset area, Sunny Heights area. So really Sunny Heights is what that area is considered. Sunset's the older the original version of this side of town, but all of this area here is going to be considered your south side of town. So when you start going more towards, obviously, the north side, you're going to get up into the north side of town. If you go out west, you have Pueblo West, which is kind of its own up and coming area. So where we were, just to zoom in here specifically to show you, so we were over on all the crest streets. So you have Cherry Crest, Maple Crest, Pine Crest, Cedar Crest. We did see one here on Solar Drive. We saw one on Peach Crest, and we saw one on Plum Crest. So we're in these areas, as you can see, Domega Homes here. So this is going to be the south side. There is a main road right here that intersects with the main boulevard. The nice thing about that is that you're going to have pretty easy access to get around town. So if you're on the main road, you're on Pueblo Boulevard, you come up to another main road here, and we talked about that area being specific to very close to the reservoir. And the reservoir here in Pueblo is so widely known. Everybody comes from around Colorado to, just have fun in the summer. It is very large. So it's less than 5 miles away. As you can see, my mouse over here is just moving around where that was. These are Domega Homes here to the right. And then you're gonna come just over here and you've got the entire reservoir area just off of Highway 96. So 96, which is also known as Thatcher, intersects that Pueblo Boulevard, and it's less than 5 miles to Red Creek Springs Road. And then here is Domega Homes here. So this part of town, this is all going to be the south side. We have Northern Avenue. It's one of your main intersecting streets that's going to run east and west. I have to think about my directions. It's going to run east and west. And then it comes up over into another area. Actually, I grew up in this area, which is called El Camino. So El Camino Park, it's a subdivision. And this is also considered the south side. So pretty much everything over here is going to be the south side. Everything I'm showing you, all this map, this is all south side. Once you hit northern, okay, so Red Creek Springs, again, just to give you reference for, if you saw our home, Dominga home video, just to give you reference, you're gonna be looking over here at Red Creek Springs Road. That is the main road that gets over into that Dominga home area. So when you come off that road, you're gonna hit the main boulevard, which is called Pueblo Boulevard. And if you take that south, you're gonna intersect northern. Once you start going down northern, you're gonna get closer to things like, shopping. We've got local places here. Paskey is a very well-known restaurant, family owned. There's actually a couple of them in town. They have amazing sausage sandwiches. Love Paskey. So they have a couple of those, one here on the south side, one on the north side of town. When we're talking about the north side of town, it's probably about a 10 to 15 minute drive. It just depends where you're going, depends on traffic, the lights, if they're cooperating with you that day or not. So nothing is really super far away in Pueblo, unless you're talking about going from one side of town, Pueblo West, which is going to head more towards Cañon City in the west side towards the mountains. If you're going to go from Pueblo West out to Pueblo County, which is outside city limits, right? That's why they call it Pueblo County. Then you're going to have a lot more space to cover. You're looking at about 35 to 40 minutes. But if you're anywhere in, the proper part of town, north side, south side, and you're kind of trying to get to the other side of town, right? So you're trying to get to south side, north side, east side, the west part of Pueblo, then you're looking at 10 to 15 minutes. It really is relatively easy. The nice thing about this area too, is that, again, I showed you guys the state fairgrounds. You're going to have lots of school options. So districts, there's a couple of big districts here, District 60 and District 70. District 60 is going to be majority of the schools on this side of town. They do have schools on other sides of town as well, but Sunset Park Elementary, for example, is just, less than 3 miles from Dominga. You're looking at maybe 2 miles, super close by. So you've got an elementary school there. You've got parks, you've got the reservoir, our main large park, which is Pueblo City Park, which also encompasses some, little park rides. We actually have a zoo. Our Pueblo Zoo is located inside City Park as well. That's going to be here, which is super close. It's off the boulevard. Again, less than 5 miles. So you get outside this area. This part that we checked out was the newer part of Dominga Homes. So that is going to be right next to the boulevard. And if you head just shortly up the boulevard, you can take a left and you can go towards the reservoir here on Thatcher Avenue, or you can pass Thatcher and up at that next stoplight, you can take a right and go into the zoo area, the park. There's also a brand new water park that was formed off the Arkansas River. So this really is such an active part of town. The south side was, one of the original established sides of town with Pueblo, but it really does have a lot to offer and is pretty active. There's dog parks over here. You're going to have shopping. You're going to have, your drive-through restaurants, so fast food. We are getting a brand new Whataburger nearby. We've got Lowe's nearby. So there's really a lot of option over here. It doesn't take long to get to any one of those. If you want to see in terms of how far away this part of town is, so this is kind of Regency is that area. So you're looking at Regency, you're going to go up northern, you can hit I-25, which if you're familiar with Colorado, I-25 is the main interstate that goes all the way up and down the Front Range. So you can hit any city, Pueblo, Colorado Springs, Lamar, La Junta. You can pretty much, if you get off I-25, it branches out to any one of those. So Okay, so if you're familiar with Colorado, pretty much anywhere you want to go amongst the I-25 corridor, you can hit Colorado Springs if you're going north. You can hit Denver. Here, I'll zoom out just a little bit so it's not as far away. So from Pueblo to Colorado Springs, the south part of Colorado Springs, so Fountain area, South Colorado Springs, about 30 to 45 minutes, just depends on if you're going with the flow of traffic or if you're going the speed limit. But it really is no longer than 45 minutes to get from pretty much downtown Pueblo to the south part of Colorado Springs. It's a pretty quick drive. And then just above Colorado Springs is obviously going to be Castle Rock, Denver. North of Denver, you're going to have Fort Collins, Loveland, and then, obviously at the top, you're going to cross over eventually into Cheyenne, Wyoming. So the nice thing about Pueblo, it is inching south towards, the southern part of the state, and it runs right off of I-25. It's 111,000 people. Got that nice smaller feel, but you still get kind of a larger town. And then if you need to do anything that Pueblo doesn't offer, then you can hit Colorado Springs, you can hit Denver, and it's really not that far away. If you're going to, let's say, Castle Rock, it's about an hour and 15 minutes. If you're going to Denver, it's about an hour and a half. Unless there's traffic, then you're going to be looking at an hour and 45 to probably 2 hours. It just depends on the time of day. So the great thing about Pueblo, again, on this south side, is you're going to have so many things that are already established. They are having, new up and coming restaurants that are being built and things like that. So once you come over to, let's say you jump on Thatcher, okay? Thatcher actually turns into a few different streets, but it will eventually turn into 4th Street, and it also parallels, okay, so you have the city park, and then on the other side of City Park, you're gonna have the golf course. If you pass the golf course, Thatcher eventually turns into West 4th Street. 4th Street eventually intersects with I-25, and you can jump on the highway there. Once you are down in that area of 4th Street, you're also gonna have the Judicial Building, the old courthouse, you're gonna have all the downtown streets, and then it's not too far of a drive south, and you'll actually hit more of that downtown feeling. We were at the Riverwalk, so as you can see here, the Arkansas River kind of runs all around there. So the Riverwalk is going to be right here. This is where we were when we started filming about Domega. So I was telling you guys, we're in downtown Pueblo and we're at the Riverwalk. Well, it's not that far. You just jump here on 4th Street or any one of these streets that will take you to 4th Street. You follow that up to Thatcher. Thatcher hits Pueblo Boulevard, and then Pueblo Boulevard comes right over into that area of Domega Homes, which is the Regency area. So that's going to be about between 10 to 15 minutes. Again, there's so many things that you can get to in this area. As you can see, it's pretty well developed. Especially this area, because it is more of the original part of Pueblo. We have the wood streets, which are a little more of your original establishment of Pueblo. El Camino that I showed you just a little bit ago, that is going to be a subdivision, and so there's covenants in that area. There's also, newer parts to Regency. Within Regency, there's a part called Ventana. Ventana has kind of your 500 plus up to $1 million homes. You're going to see a lot of newer stuff mixed with some older stuff. And again, you're shopping, grocery stores. So the main 2 grocery stores here are going to be King Soopers and Safeway. There may be a 5 to 8 minute drive from where we were over here in Domega. You just jump right on either Northern, or you could jump on Thatcher and take it down, but Northern's probably the easiest. It really does run all the way up to I-25, so you can hit quite a few streets from that. And the grocery stores are both off of that Northern Avenue. So if you hit Northern Avenue, you're just going to take that all the way up until you'll see it, you can't miss it, King Soopers on the right-hand side or Safeway on the left-hand side. And that's going to be just in this area. And it's over here by the event center and the state fairgrounds. So the state fairgrounds actually houses the event center. So that is all going to be in that area. And then, super simple. There's also a Little Caesars over there. There's lots of local restaurants with great Mexican food. Mi Ranchito is showing up here, that's over by Regency. We have local restaurants like Pizza Ranch, and that's one of the nice things about Pueblo is, yes, there are chain food restaurants here, but you're really going to experience a lot of the local family-owned feel, and it's nice because you go in and you feel like it's an extension of friends and family. So we will also show you, I'm just going to zoom out here to kind of show you what I mean when I say that there's different sides. So as you can see, this right here, Lower East Side. So that's going to be more of your east side of town. So that over in that section is going to be like where our university is. Colorado State University Pueblo is up there. The Walking Stick Golf Course, beautiful golf course. So all of that is going to be more on the north side of town, but then close to that, depending on how far south you go, you're going to hit that Lower East Side. And then if you go over west, you're going to hit the west side of town, which is kind of interesting. It actually runs almost into the south side. So west side of town, you can actually hit Pueblo Boulevard, and it comes right into where the park is. So west side is considered right here, but it's kind of encompassing all of this area here where I'm circling with my mouse. And then west side goes up here to Pueblo Boulevard. You would follow that down, and then you're going to hit Pueblo Zoo, the city park, and then we're back into Regency. So again, Regency, although not in the middle of town, but it is centralized to, the different areas that you're going to see here on the map. So you have your east side, your Lower East Side. Belmont is what is considered it's kind of parallel with where the university is, and the university and the Walking Stick Golf Course. So that is considered Belmont, but it's also considered University Walking Stick. They're very close. The lines are very, it's like one street, you're in University, and one more street, you're over in Belmont. They're very close and almost kind of blurred. So this area though, University to Belmont, you're looking literally blocks, less than 5-minute drive. It's all one section. There are 2 Lowe's stores here, which is really nice. So we have one on the north side of town, one on the south side. The main parts of Pueblo really do consist of north and south. That's kind of your home base, but then you have all these different little areas that are broken up. So you have the east side of town, the Lower East Side of town. You've got Pueblo West, you've got the south side. So north, south, east, west. Now Pueblo West. So if you hit, let's say you are on 25, you can hit right here at Highway 50. Highway 50 is when you first come into Pueblo. There's actually an exit to get to, it's just outside of Pueblo, and I believe it's this one right here, and it hits Platteville/Dillon Drive. That goes into Pueblo West if you wanted to take that shortcut. If you're in Pueblo, you're going to want to hit Highway 50 and take it out west. And as you can see, once you get out to Pueblo West, it's its own complete development. Depending on where you're at in Pueblo, anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes. Again, if you're coming from the east side of town, it's going to be more towards that 25-minute mark. If you're coming just from downtown or South Pueblo, you're looking at 15 to 20-minute mark. So this has kind of really been developed into its own area. We'll have other videos on Pueblo West here coming up as well, but they've got their own Walmart, they've got their own different restaurants. Not a lot of chains out there. There's quite a few locally owned things, dessert places. We've got shaved ice places, just really neat locally owned businesses out there. And then because we go so far out and it gets a little more rural with, a lot less housing and there's a lot more land out there, they're not as restricted as in town. So if you're living in Pueblo West, you can have horses because you're going to have land, acres, a lot more acres than you would have in town usually. So you can have horses out there, and the restrictions are a lot less because you're not within city limits. It's actually not considered city limits. So this is its whole own little city out here. And then if you take, again, either Pueblo Boulevard or I-25, and you get off on Santa Fe Drive, that's going to be this right here where this says blend. So if you get off on this right here, There's a drive-in theater out there. And this is what's going to be called Pueblo County. So in the county are all the lane streets, 21st lane, 22nd lane, 23rd, and it goes all the way up into the 40s. And as you're crossing through the county, you kind of hit different little towns and sections. It starts off with Blend, and then it switches over into Avondale, and then Boone. And so it's kind of all divided out there. The airport is out there as well. Pueblo does have an airport. It is a smaller one. We don't have currently a lot of flights that go in and out of there, but that is something that they are working on. So as of April 2025, there are some flights that go in and out of there. Very little though. If you're going to go to an airport, you're going to want to go to Colorado Springs or Denver. Denver is just over 2 hours away if you hit I-25 corridor. If you are going to Colorado Springs and you want to fly out of there, that one's about 45 minutes. So that one's not too bad. But there's, again, just the county is really great because you're going to have a lot of land and a lot of family-owned businesses. There is, there are schoolings, or schools out there. That is District 70 usually. So, I mean, it goes way out here. As you can see, Boone is out here. Avondale is just before Boone. And then you really start getting into the boonies. And you get way out there in Fowler. Fowler is pretty far east, but again, it's nice. There is actually a school out there. It's nice if you want a lot of, farmland or acreage. You want to own cattle, horses, cows, anything. So that's, if you're looking for more of like a country type feel, that's going to be in what we call Pueblo County. And that's the nice thing about Pueblo too, is, you get the city when you go downtown. You get the suburbs, right? It's not really a suburb, but it's just a sectioned off division of Pueblo. When you go into the south side or the north side or the west side or University, Pueblo West, those all feel like our little version of suburbs here, but it's really just a different section. Pueblo West really has become its own area. It's become its own little town over there. So a lot of people like to live out there. It's newer. There's a lot of newer development. They have their own Walmart. They have, their own restaurants, things like that. There's actually a Pasky out there as well. The restaurant that I spoke of earlier that I said was family owned with great sausage sandwiches, that's out there. We have, again, the reservoir you can actually access from Pueblo West. So that's really nice. There are roads that connect to let you access the reservoir. So, it's just really up to you what side of town you want to be on, what you're looking for. The south side is one of the most popular because it is so close to the zoo. It's so close to the park. It's so close to the reservoir, and you can get anywhere in town within 15 to 25 minutes. If you're going nearby, I mean, my daughter's school is only 2 minutes from my house. So you can get somewhere that quick, or you can choose a school that's across town and still get there in 15 minutes. So these are all the different parts of Pueblo. And I think it's, something to highlight that when you move here, you're getting a little bit of a larger town, but you're definitely going to get that small town vibe. There are a lot of people that are connected here. Everybody, we always say everybody knows everybody here, which it's growing a lot now. So it's probably not as much the case as it used to be, but it is that town that, you feel like you've got family here and people that you can call that would be there at the drop of a hat, because it's one of those, we kind of take care of each other sort of town. So if you are looking to do, things with a lot more activity, things like Topgolf or indoor skydiving or larger zoos. Pueblo Zoo is kind of small. So larger zoos or resorts or like staycations, things like that, you're going to want to head north to Colorado Springs. There's going to be a lot more option for that up there. Colorado Springs is a really large city, and it keeps growing east, and it just gets bigger and bigger. There's a lot of military there, lots of bases. So the population has just grown and grown and grown every year. Again, if you want to go to the airport, it's just right here. And if you look in conjunction with Pueblo, Pueblo's right here. The airport's just right here. So it is just a quick 45-minute drive up I-25. So these are the things that I wanted to point out about Pueblo. It's again, smaller town, but a big town. And that south side where you are in Domega Homes is going to be one of the most sought after areas because of the newer homes in there, because of the fact that those homes are, rated for clean energy by the builder. They have tile roofs, which helps you add value to your house because you now have a roof that can withstand a lot more weather than a normal roof. And then you're close by everything. You've got shopping, you've got Walmart nearby, that's within 5 minutes. You've got your Starbuckses, your Jersey Mike's, you've got the Pueblo Reservoir within 10 minutes. You've pretty much got anything you want. The Riverwalk is 10 to 15 minutes away. It just depends on what time of day you're going there. The state fairgrounds are within 5 to 10 minutes. It just really is, a place that is easy to fall into loving because there is so much to offer, and there's an array of, it's kind of old mixed with new, but the new is starting to take over the older parts of this area. And we have covenants, we have, subdivisions. So it's a great area. And, if you guys are looking to move to this area, or you have questions about Pueblo, I urge you to just reach out to us. Our contact information is in the description box, so you can easily reach out if you're planning to make a move. We're happy to answer questions and even happier to help make it a smooth move by helping you find a home. So feel free to reach out, and we look forward to connecting with you guys.